Hey, hey, hey! Long time no see. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm finishing some requirements right now, and it's deadline tomorrow. And you know what that means? Once you have reached the deadline, you're gonna have your paycheck. So I'd better finish this one. Actually, I was actually thinking that, what should I be spending for my paycheck? Maybe treat myself for a luxury dinner or something like that, or probably buy myself another cell phone or another gadget. Well, or otherwise, I can actually spend my money, right? You know what? Like the problem with the problem with people is that when they actually think that they actually have money to spend, or there's like money coming in, they think that that they're so entitled to spend, to spend so that at least they can treat themselves. Well, treating yourself is actually not bad because definitely it's your hard-earned money. However, sometimes we don't limit ourselves to the point wherein we spend too much, yet we don't know that our savings is actually being bankrupt. And I have actually analyzed some things. I was like thinking, like Filipinos here actually like has two jobs. Like they work roughly around 40, 50, or sometimes 60 hours. And I was thinking, like, why are they still struggling about money? That's one thing that I think, one Filipino mentality that we should actually try to eradicate. Actually, there's a term for this one, and I quote unquote, it's what we call the SAHOD system. Well, basically, the SAHOD system, when you feel that there's money to spend for a certain period, for example, your paycheck comes on a in a 15-30 basis, or every 2 weeks, and you think that, oh, it's paycheck, so I have to spend I have to spend money because this is hard-earned money. And sometimes we do not know, or we don't know how to control our spending. We forget that we still have a lot of things to pay, like a lot of liabilities, a lot of debts. And that's what saddens me, because sometimes we are being so impulsive with what we buy. Sometimes we do not think of things that is very important to save on, right? Like there are certain scenarios wherein, like, you treat yourself or you treat others because it's your paycheck or on your paydays, or things like that. That is actually a misconception of a traditional Filipino. Like, oh, it's my paycheck, like I'm gonna treat you so that I will be having a good shot to my friends. Like, you're gonna brag that you have money. Sometimes um you add bills payable that is more than your or more than 50% of your salary. Like, for example, you're gonna loan a or you're gonna get a phone. You're like, the iPhone 11 just came out, and you're gonna get a new phone. Well, last year you just got a new phone, and then let's say, for example, you think that car is a necessity for you, so you loan the car, and then you think that having a line is much more comfortable than being on a prepaid, so you're paying the postpaid. And if you're gonna sum it up, it's actually way more than 50% of your monthly salary. Sometimes it's like 70, 80, or sometimes 100% all goes to bills. And that is not healthy. You know, and there are actually some actually a lot of people. What they do is that they withdraw money without, or they withdraw money without having a good estimate of what they really need. Like for example, like there's like 10,000 pesos on their paycheck or on their bank account. They're gonna withdraw 9,500 and just like leave 500 pesos so that it won't be delinquent. And then just spend the cash on hand. You know, having too much cash on hand is actually not a good sign as well. And there's it's like this is like human nature that money's earned, so it must be spent. So definitely, like when you feel like you have the money to spend, then you spend, because basically again you want to relieve yourself from the stress by purchasing things. And that's one Filipino mentality that I think we should eradicate, the SAHOD system. So Gerald, actually, like someone actually asked me about this one, and I actually gave him a recommendation in order for us to make sure that at least we try to limit ourselves or limit our functionality to purchase things, and have a long-term goal on your money. Like for example, okay, learn how to allot a fixed budget or allocation. For example, so you're gonna have a list. Okay, 30% of my salary goes to food. Okay, and then 40% of my bills goes to payables like bills, whatever you have to pay, either it's a loan or it's your postpaid. You should make sure that it is within your 40% payables. So another thing is your rent. Okay, so you have to make sure that your payables is actually within 40%. Now if you think that, okay, so I'm going beyond my 40% payables, then you really have to think, is it really important? Because if you keep on adding up your payables, then definitely you're just gonna put yourself, like you're just like a cow struggling to get through the day, and then what you have earned will just be paid on your debts, which is like very, very harsh. And then 20%, you have to make sure that on your paycheck you at least need to have 20% of your savings. Always remember that. Always make sure that, for example, you're earning 5,000 pesos per paycheck. You have to make sure that there's always 1,000 pesos on your savings, because for your subconscious, like, and then like, or actually remove it from your subconscious, remove it from your consciousness. If you have to create another bank account so that you can just throw the money out there, and go back maybe probably a year or so, you'll be surprised of like how much will you be earning if you keep on at least putting away at least 20% of your salary. Okay, and then the 10%, whatever that is your loose, that is your luxury money. You can spend any way you want there, right? And then you always have to limit your always have a limit on your payables that burdens you. So if you think you don't need that postpaid plan, you can go down to prepaid. That's fine. It's the same functionality. You can call, you can text, right? And then there's a lot of promos, right? And then you always have to limit your cash on hand. Okay, usually minimum an average of spending roughly around 3 days. Okay, so when I go to the ATM, my average per day is like 500 pesos. Okay, for example, so, or 300 pesos. It's up to you. So what I'm going to withdraw is roughly around an average of 3 days, or the span of 3 days. So for example, I have 300 pesos on my budget, then I need to withdraw at least only a 900 or 1,000. Okay, so that you know to yourself that you have to control your bills. You need to control your, like, because the more money you see on your wallet, the more you are tempted to purchase things, and money goes or flies by so fast, I tell you. And the last thing you'll know, you're like 10 days far from having your next paycheck, and that's not good. And then I always have this questions. These questions really help me a lot on my spending career. Spending career, what the? Well, I always make sure to ask three questions to myself whenever I see things. For example, I have this. I really like peanuts, so when I actually see this, the peanuts, the dry roasted peanuts, I'm gonna ask myself, do I need it? Now, if the answer is yes, ask the second question, do I really need it? Okay? Now, if I satisfy myself, step number three, or question number three, if I satisfy myself for the first two questions, I think I should go back at the question number one. Do I need it? And it really helped me a lot. And it actually gives you more time to think, and to have more reasons for you to justify if you really need it or not. If you think that you really don't need it, then why buy it? It will just be another stock on your, or a stockpile on your house or in your room, right? So this SAHOD system has to go. Okay, this SAHOD system, like, you think that you have to spend, you have money to spend, this has to stop. Like, and there's nothing wrong in saving. There's something wrong if you're spending a lot. Well, I really do hope that this helped you out. I know, I still have to finish this requirement because it's paycheck tomorrow and I have to budget my money. Well, friend, I'll see you again very soon, okay? Cheers, mate.